Hello students, in ICSE in the Java 9th and 10th syllabus, the first chapter in class 9 syllabus is Introduction to Object-Oriented Concepts. So in that you have got two sub-chapters. First one is Principles of Object-Oriented Programming and second one is Introduction to Java. Before further enhancing into or further diving into this chapter, we need to learn some terms related to the computer science. So we will learn them one by one. The terms are first one is a program, the second one is coding, and third one is instruction. So what do you mean by instruction and what do you mean by program and what do you mean by coding? All these things we will learn one by one. For that, let us understand or let us consider we have two persons here. So let us call this person as X and let us call this person as Y. So we have got two persons, one is X and one is Y. So if a person wants to give instruction to this person, they should have common language. In this case, let us say that they don't have a common language. This X person speaks X language and this Y person speaks Y language. In that situation, what will be the problem? So the problem is whatever the instructions X will give, it will not be understood by the Y person and he will not follow it. The same situation will be followed in the computer also. So the computer will be running on the language called zeros and ones. So this type of language is called as machine level language, or we can call it as, this is also called as low level language, or this is also called as binary language. So the computer will work on this type of language. So as a person, so what I want to do is I want to give some instructions to the computer. So we are normal persons and we speak languages like English, Kannada, etc., etc. These types of languages are followed or spoken by us, and these type of languages are called as high level language or human level language. So when I write the instruction in high level or human level language, it is not understandable by the computer. So what they have designed is they have designed a mechanism. So in this mechanism I will write the instruction following some specific rules, and after that what they will do is they will convert these code into zeros and ones form that is understandable by the computer, so that our instructions is carried out by the computer. This process is called as coding. So what happens in coding? So in coding we will write the rules, or we will write the task using some specific rules. These rules we can consider as a syntax or grammar. So while writing English language, we will have some rules where to write these, all these things will be present now. So in the same way, while writing the computer program, we need to follow some rules. These rules are called as syntax rules. I think you have understood what is an instruction or what do you mean by programming or coding. So it is the process of writing the instruction or giving the instructions to the computer using some specific rules. A single task or single command is known as, we can say that a single command is known as a Instruction. A single command is known as instruction. Group of commands are called as program, and group of programs are called as, can you say that, or can you guess what it is called? Group of programs are called as softwares. The process of writing this software is called as programming, or we can call it as coding. So coding is the process of writing instructions. It may be a single instruction or group of instructions. So I think you have understood what is programming or coding. After programming, we learn about three types of languages. There are three types of languages are there. First one is low level language, second one is middle or assembly level language, third one is high level language. So what do you mean by low level language? Low level language is a language which is understandable only by the computers, and it will be present in the form of zeros and ones. So low level languages are only understood by the computers and it is present in zeros and ones. The second type of languages are called as, the low level languages are understood only by the computers. The higher type of language is called as high level language or human level language. These are understandable by the human beings and these are present in our common language. Like I'll give some example: English, Kannada, Hindi, etc. So although we can write coding in all the languages, commonly we use English for writing the code. There is another type of language is called as, that is assembly level language, which is a mixture of computer level language plus human level language. Let us say I'll write one code div some zeros and ones. These are not exact, but some random zeros and ones. So as you can observe here, in assembly level language, some part of the coding is present in human level language and some part of the coding is present in low level language. So we can say that it is a mixture of both low level language and high level language. So this type of language uses both the languages. So in this language, the part which is present in high level language is called as mnemonics. The part which is present in high level language is called as mnemonics, and with the part which is present in low level language is called as opcodes. So as you can observe here, I'll write a note of it here. So there are three types of languages are there: low level language, assembly level language and high level language. The assembly level language consists of two parts. One is mnemonics, second one is opcodes. So mnemonic means the part present in high level language is called as mnemonics, and the part which is present in low level language is called as opcodes. I think you have understood what do you mean by language, what do you mean by program, and what do you mean by softwares. Now let us dive into the actual syllabus. So see here, observe here. So whenever we consider a program, let us say this is a program. A program consists of two parts. So first one is our data. The first part is our data. Second part is our procedure or function. So what do you mean by procedure or function? So let us understand by taking an example. Let us say we take an example of an app. So we are taking an example of WhatsApp. See here, WhatsApp has two parts. One is our message. So let us say I'll type some message which is to be sent to my friend. And so what do you do with the message? How do you send a message? Every information, what can be done with the message, how the encryption will happen, everything will be the present as a one part. So this message, whatever the message, the procedure will be the same. Suppose I will type some message, and what this part will do, this part will convert our message into some encrypted language and all. So observe here, whatever the message, I'll type any message. So for any message, the procedure will be the same. So there are two programming approaches are there. First one is first one is POP, and second one is OOP. So what is the full form of POP? So POP stands for Procedure Oriented Programming, and OOP stands for Object Oriented Programming. So what is the major difference between POP and OOP is, in POP, the concentration was given to these procedures. So POP gave concentration to the procedures and OOP gave concentration to the data. Let us take another example. Say here we have a program. In that program, a data is there and some procedures are there. Let us say procedure 1, procedure 2, procedure 3, like this some procedures are there. Procedure 1 will access data, it will modify the data. Procedure 2 will access the data, it will again modify the data. Procedure 3 will also access the data, it will modify the data. So there was hardly less security for our data, and we cannot take the data when we wanted to take a backup. So this is the old methodology. So I have explained what are the problems you faced in the procedure oriented programming. To overcome this problem, object oriented programming was introduced. So in object oriented programming, what happens is, so our data and let's say its related functions, let us say procedure 1, it is grouped into a single unit. So in procedure oriented, what they did is they grouped the data and its related procedure into a single unit, and they called it as a class, or we can call it as object. So we will dive into that later. So let us say we have one class and we have second class. In second class also we have data and our procedure. So now what happens is, so in, as I have already told, in object oriented programming the main concentration is on data. So the procedure related to the data can easily access it, but other procedures cannot access this data, so that the security for data is enhanced. See here, so in this example or in WhatsApp's example, so as you can observe in earlier POP methodology, these data can be accessed by any other apps, but as it is Android is running on POP technology, it become harder to use the data by other apps. WhatsApp's data is only used by the WhatsApp, Facebook's data is only used by the Facebook, and so on. This is what POP and OOP stands for. So in brief, we can say that POP gave main concentration to procedure, so less security, it caused less security to data, and it gave main concentration, or its main interest was on procedure. On the other hand, we have OOP. OOP mainly concentrated on data. So enhanced security for data and data protection is increased. Its main interest on only data. So whenever we say a program is object oriented program, it has to follow some rules or some properties, or we can say that some principles of object oriented programming. So what are the basic principles of object oriented programming? Class, object, data encapsulation, data abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, message passing, dynamic binding. So these are the basic principles of object oriented programming, but for your syllabus they have not included message passing and uh, dynamic binding. But when you go to higher classes or when you go to higher studies, you are going to learn about all these basic principles. So classes and objects, there is a dedicated chapter for classes and objects. We are not going to learn these two in first chapter. So these two are additional topics. These are out of syllabus topics. They are not included in ICSE Java syllabus. Therefore, I am going to omit it. See, so there are four principles of object-oriented programming in this chapter. They are data abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. So encapsulation means wrapping up of data and function into a single unit. Encapsulation is nothing but wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit. What do you mean by wrapping? See here. To enhance the security, what the object-oriented programming will do, it will group the data and its related function into a single unit. This unit is called as class. The grouping, what happens here? Grouping. See here, its data and its related function is grouped into a single unit. This process is called as data encapsulation, or we can say that the process of creation of a class is called as data encapsulation. What happens in data encapsulation? In data encapsulation, they are grouped. Then data abstraction. What happens in data abstraction? So data abstraction means showing essential things without including background details. So observe here, essential. Let me correct the spelling. So observe here. So let us say we have two classes here. First one is class A and second one is class B. So whatever the things that is carried on class A will be hidden to class 2, or whatever the things will considered or whatever the things that is done in class 1 will be hidden for class 2. So for this, where the data abstraction is happening, this part is hidden. For this part is hidden. That means for class 1, class 2 is hidden, and for class 2, class 1 is hidden. Showing essential things. For class 2, whatever required, it is shown. In the same way, for class 1, what is required, it is shown, but it is not shown with the unnecessary details. Let us take some real world example. So let us take an example of ATM. So when you withdraw money from ATM machine, so ATM machine will provide me a screen, some button and two places. That's it. So two places means one is for money withdrawal and second one is for card insertion and receipt payment. So only these three items will be shown. So how the money comes, where the money is present, how money is calculated, those are all the things that is not shown to me. So what is happening here? Data is abstracting. Some concepts are abstracted by the ATM machine. So in the same way, in Java programming also, some part is hidden and some part will be shown to the users. That is called as data abstraction. Next, third part is called, third principle of Java programming is inheritance. So inheritance is reusing the already present data, already present program. For example, let us consider one example now. See, now let us say class 1 has some data and some procedure 1. So what I want is, I want same procedure 1 in class 2, class 3 and so many places. Some let us say 25 places or 25 locations. I want the same code. Obviously what you will say, sir, I'll copy paste it so that my code will be inheritance is not required by me. I will copy paste it. So what are the problem with the copy plus paste methodology is, let us say, so I have written program 1 in first location and I have copied it to the 25 locations. So after writing my program, I want some changes. So what happens now? I have to go to all 25 locations and make changes. Or else, if I make if I made some mistakes at the first place, so I have to go to all 25 places and I have to correct them. Plus, length of the program will be very long. So all to avoid all these problems, we use a concept called inheritance. What happens in inheritance? The code will be present in first location and it will be reused by other 25 places. Not only 25, you can use it unlimited number of times. This is called as inheritance. So code is present once and it can be reused any number of times. That is called as inheritance. Then the last concept is called as polymorphism. It is a Latin word. Poly means many, unary, binary, same ternary. In the same way, poly means many and morph means forms, many forms, or we can say that polymorphism leads to many forms. What do you mean by many forms? Let us say, so I have got two situations. In first situation I have 10 and 20, and in second situation I have come plus puter. In first situation I have two words and in second situation I have got, sorry, in first situation I have got two numbers 10 and 20 and in second situation I have got two words. So if I use the plus operator in both the cases, so I am using plus operator in both the cases, here it will give the result as 30, here it will give the result as computer. See, operator is same, but depending on the situation it is changing its behavior. That is, here the plus operation is acting as a addition operator, here the plus operator is acting as a joining operator. So depending on the situation, this plus operator is changing its behavior. This property of object oriented program is called as polymorphism. You also exhibit polymorphism, isn't it? So in front of friends will be one person, in front of parents will be another person, in front of one teacher will be another person. So you are also showing polymorphism. We can define polymorphism as Polymorphism is a property where operator or function will behave differently at different situations. For example, let us take another real world example. Do you know the word cell? With respect to physics, what do you mean by cell? With respect to chemistry, what do you mean by cell? With respect to biology, what do you mean by cell? With respect to police, what do you mean by cell? So the spelling pronunciation is same, but when it comes to physics, it is a battery cell. When it is coming to the chemistry, it is some other cell. In biology, it is uh, biocell. In police, jail. In police terms, cell means jail. The cell is behaving differently at different situation. In the same way, duck. Duck means a bird, as well as getting out for zero is also called as duck. So here the words are behaving differently at different situations. This is called as polymorphism. So all these four principles can be remembered using some code words. So data encapsulation means we can remember it as grouping. So grouping means so data and procedures are grouped into a single unit, that is called as data encapsulation. Second one is data abstraction. Abstraction means hiding. Some data is shown and some data is hidden to some other program. So inheritance, we can remember inheritance as reusing. So already present code is reused by one or the other person or one or the other programs is called as uh, inheritance. So let me move it to the last page so that you can remember this. Then last concept is polymorphism. Polymorphism, you can remember it as many forms. So if you remember four words, you can remember the four principles of OOPS. These principles of OOPS will be asked for 2 marks. The definitions are very, very important. The four principles are data encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. Abstraction is nothing but grouping, sorry, hiding. Encapsulation is nothing but grouping. Inheritance is nothing but reusing, and polymorphism is nothing but using in a many forms. So I have given, in this lesson I have given some brief idea about the object oriented programming principles. You can refer your textbook along with my explanation. I have not used any single textbooks for explanation. So sorry for the spelling mistakes here and there. I think you are capable of understanding whether you have understanding my spelling mistakes. So if you want the written notes or typed notes for the chapter, please mention in the comments. So I will make arrangements to provide it. So if you have any doubts, please feel to ask in the comment box. Thank you.